Hey, it's Mr. Salzman. Not a picture book this time again, but here's another book I'd like to share with you. And this one I actually have not read the entire book, but it kind of intrigued me just reading it. So I'd like to share the blurb with you and then maybe a little bit of the first chapter and see what you think. It's called The Forgotten Girl by India Hill Brown. And here's what the blurb says on the back. Do you know what it feels like to be forgotten? On a cold winter night, Iris and her best friend Daniel sneak into the woods to play in the snow. There, Iris makes a perfect snow angel, only to uncover the crumbling gravestone of a young girl named Avery Moore. Soon, strange things start to happen to Iris. She begins having vivid nightmares. She thinks she sees the shadow of a girl lurking in the night, and she feels the pull of the abandoned grave, calling her back to the woods. Obsessed with figuring out what's going on, Iris and Daniel start to investigate and discover that the grave is actually part of an abandoned black cemetery. They become determined to restore the grave and have proper respect finally paid to Avery and the others buried there. But they have summoned a jealous and demanding ghost, one who's not satisfied with their plans, one who is tired of being overlooked and who wants Iris to be her best friend forever, no matter the cost. Let's check it out. Chapter 1. Iris's nightmares terrified her, especially the ones when she couldn't tell if she was dreaming or not, when she was barely awake but not quite asleep, frozen to her bed. Unable to move as monsters crept from the shadows in her room, walking toward her until she squeezed her eyes shut and hastily thought of a prayer. When that happens, the witch is riding your back, Daniel's grandmother Suga would say every time she recounted a dream. To stop them, you have to put a broom under your bed, so she'll ride that instead and let you go. Everyone else wrote it off as another one of Suga's old superstitions, but Iris so wished her parents would let her keep a broom under her bed, at least for one night. Instead, she just slept with a nightlight, even though she felt too old for that. Her nightmares were what made her afraid of the dark. Well, not exactly afraid. She just didn't like how unsure the dark was. The way you had to make your best guess. Was that a person standing over her bed? Or was it her lamp? An animal eyeing her, or a pile of dirty clothes? The nightlight helped, and so did the snow. It snowed just enough here in the small town of Esau, North Carolina, and Iris was more enchanted by it than anyone else. She loved the way the sunlight danced on the snow in the daytime. Snow made the light even brighter, playing off it and making its own beauty. Even at night, the snow made the world sparkle as it captured the glow from the street lights. Iris jumped out of bed and turned her flashlight on and off 3 times in the direction of Daniel's bedroom window. This was their signal. If either one of them did it, they needed to meet outside immediately. The signal indicated an emergency, and this was definitely an emergency. The first snow of the season, she couldn't miss it. She didn't make a sound. The only noise to be heard was the blood pounding in her ears, matching her heart's thump. She couldn't contain her excitement. She wouldn't let her stupid fear of the dark stop her. Plus, the snow would help her, brightening the night sky like it always did. And she was careful. She had made Mama tie her scarf on her hair very securely before bed. Mama thought it was so Iris's braids would stay just as fresh as they were when they left the hair salon earlier that day. And it was partly that, and partly their thing, one last time to bond each evening before Iris went to sleep. But tonight, it was also so the clink-clank of the colorful beads at the end of her many braids wouldn't make a sound when she went outside, because she was indeed going outside. Sounds like a pretty good book. If you'd like to read this book, it's called The Forgotten Girl by India Hill Brown, and we have it in our library. Remember, you can go to Destiny Discover, push the blue hold button, and we can get this to you. Thanks for listening.